for the 4th of July tomorrow. And in keeping with the spirit of the 4th and liberty, Barb, would you lead us with the Pledge of Allegiance?
I will.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
I would ask folks, if you've got a cell phone and you've not turned it off or silenced it, please go ahead and do that so we're not answering the call there. Okay. To begin with, I'd like to just address the minutes from last month, from June 5th. For everybody's knowledge, the city clerk sends this out to us on email. It's available for everybody to review. So with that, is there any comment in regards to the minutes from last month?
I'll make a motion, we approve them.
Okay. A motion's been made and seconded. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay, it's carried unanimously. Okay, the next point in the agenda is audience participation. I recognize most people, but we do have a student from Charter High School, and I would like to say welcome. I'm glad you're here. The Memorial Island Advisory Committee, one of our responsibilities is just to help the city see that Memorial Island is there for its purpose, which is to honor our veterans. So I hope you gained something this morning. And with that, we'll move to new business. And Bob's not here. So in regards to the 4th of July, I know that the Recreation Department has all sorts of plans for Riverside Park. Memorial Island will be the base that the city uses for shooting the fireworks so that everybody has a display out over the river. And I think Rob would just recommend to everybody to get there early in the afternoon, because the later you wait, the more the cars arrive and the more the traffic is, the more likelihood of pedestrian meeting vehicle, and that's not a good news. Okay. Veterans Day parking, just a point there. One of the lessons learned from Memorial Day that was noted was that the parking near the entrance to Memorial Island, there's a lot of fencing and no parking. So I spoke with Chief Curry. They're going to look at assigning some additional reserve space there for folks so that need a closer parking. And I talked to his deputy yesterday, and they're going to look at probably 30 reserve parking for the Korean ceremony coming up this month. Okay, very good. All right. And then the other new business was military service marker restoration. Don, can you address anything in regards to looking at that?
Good morning, Don Dexter with Public Works. I thought I had some pictures on file of each of those markers, and I haven't found them yet, but I wanted to send those off to the company who we have most recently gotten the cenotaph markers from, and just get an estimate from them. And there's also a local gentleman who does bronze restoration, and we've been playing phone tag for over a year, and I'd like to get him to come up and just look and see if these are restorable or if they should be replaced. I'm still waiting to get an answer back on that.
Now, my thinking is they were a part of the original dedication. Is that right?
That's correct.
In 64?
No, those were when we did
well,
phase one of the island in the
70s?
early 90s.
Early 90s?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so we're getting, I don't know, towards 15 years of wear and tear.
Yes.
So.
And they're not, I can tell just from tapping on them, they're not a solid cast bronze like we have out there now. So it's hollow underneath. So I'm not sure if they are a full bronze casting or if they are a plated material.
Plated material. Okay.
And just without getting hard prices off the top of my head based on the prices we've gotten for the cenotaph markers, I would guess each of those would be in the $700-800 range to replace with a solid bronze marker and with the relief on them so that they're not just a flat.
So the question would be if we would need to actually replace them or versus restore them.
Correct.
Right. Okay. How many do we have?
Well,
like
we
six?
have Army, Navy, Marine, Air Force, Coast Guard, and DOD, as I recall. So that's seven?
Seven? 6 or 7?
6 or 7.
6 or 7.
Okay. Any questions on? I think we're pretty familiar, and they just go around the exterior of the island on the walkway. Well, good. So we'll just follow up with that and see what the projected costs will be, and then go from there.
Okay.
All right. Now we'll go to old business, and with that, Mr. Gomez, Joe, if you'd come up, please, and kind of give us an update in regards to the ceremony.
Good morning.
Good morning.
My name is Joe Gomez, Korean War veteran, Chapter 318, and I'm back on a follow-up on the program which we put together. And what I'd like to do is give you all a copy so you know what we're talking about.
Okay.
That'd be all right?
Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Here we go.
Thank you.
I wrote this up accordingly with the help of Mr. Young, and I wanted to run this through you to see if you approved it, and for the anniversary on the 27th of July.
Okay. Just so for those folks that are watching on TV, the program begins with a call to order, and that is at 10 o'clock. Is that correct?
Correct.
What time? Okay, 10 o'clock. Okay. And where will this be physically located on the island?
On the island, on Memorial Island.
Is it going to be at the Korean Monument, or will it be at where you normally do the ceremonies for Memorial Day?
We're going to do it where the ceremonies are usually done.
Okay, so it's right there at that circle.
At that circle.
At the circle.
Right.
Okay. Okay, and then at 10 o'clock following the call to order, words of welcome, which you'll do. Is that right?
The what?
The words of welcome, will you be doing that?
Yes.
Okay, so yourself. All right. And then Father Cantwell from St. Helens will do the invocation, the Pledge of Allegiance by William
Dugan. He's our secretary.
He's the secretary with you? Okay. Then the national anthem, and tell me about that.
The national anthem, he's going to have music there, and we'll all join in and sing the national anthem.
Okay, and you've went over and did a rehearsal with.
We didn't have a rehearsal.
Well, you met with the fellow.
I met with Bob Greco.
With Bob Greco. Okay,
yeah, right,
and he can support that with the sound system and
exactly.
all? Okay. and then the introduction, and then a short address. And for everybody here, one of the Korean War veterans here in Vero Beach, his name is Ted Greisinger. And Ted was a member of an artillery unit that was in the salient at the end of the war that was overrun by the Chinese, and he survived that. And then at the end of the war, became a private businessman and did very well. So I'll speak to his experience, and he'll be able to attend, which will be nice to have him at that ceremony. And then Vince will do the placing of the wreath with George. Very good. And you have a wreath from a local business?
Yes, I have a wreath, which we're going to present the wreath,
Okay. Do you know?
Not a local business. We're buying it ourselves,
Okay. All right. And then the ship's bell for the Navy and the nautical fellows?
Yeah, the ship's bell is from Ernest Miller, the Marine unit.
Okay. And that's the, which unit is that?
Marine Corps League.
The Marine Corps League? Okay.
Yeah, on the ship's bell, how many bells you want to, it's oftentimes the bell is used to tell what time it is, but it's more ceremonial, so.
Okay.
Yeah.
Just a full magazine, give them 8 bells.
Okay, I don't know really which one. I'd have to ask Ernest,
Yes, sir, I'll contact them if it'll help. And
Okay.
I know, and Ernie Miller is a member of he is a Korean War veteran as well, so it's
Right.
appropriate that he be there for that. And there's a lot of symbolism in bells besides the obvious.
Right. Right.
Marine Corps Scout connection.
Okay. And then after the wreath is placed, the bells are rung, the introduction of the guest speaker, which is going to be Peter Popolozio. And do you want to say anything in regards to Pete?
Yes, Peter was in Korea. He's a president of the Korean War Veterans in Port St. Lucie, Chapter 106, and he's very decorated. And I called him and spoke with him, and he agrees to, be a speaker. He was last time also.
Okay.
Yeah, at the last in 1959. And he's bringing also his members with him too.
Okay.
Yeah, at full, they're going to be dressed up and so forth.
And just for those viewing, Peter Popolozio was a corporal in the Army during Korea, and he did call me. I spoke with him. And for the folks that know the Korean War, one of the most horrendous battles of that war was called Pork Chop Hill. And he was a young man at the time that had gotten a few weeks of training and then deployed to Korea and had served a little while. And then they said, guess what? Your next duty assignment is at this geographical location, which happened to be adjacent or there at Pork Chop Hill. And he survived that and was awarded for his service there. And then later was awarded the Silver Star for going to the aid of another organization that was ambushed. So between Peter and then Ted, who was a West Point young lieutenant that served there, I think we'll have some very distinguished veterans of the Korean War. And as I was walking this morning, I was thinking it's been 60 years, is that right?
Correct.
Since the close of the Korean War. This is really a huge event. If you look in the press releases in D.C., they've got 3 days of activities. This is our Vero Beach, Indian River County opportunity to say thank you for those veterans. Yeah. It's important.
Yes.
Okay. After the presentation by Peter, there's a rifle volley for and taps by you said VFW post. Is that right?
Right.
Okay.
3918.
And then finally a closing, right?
Right.
Okay. And we're expecting probably how long? 40 minutes, 45 minutes maybe?
I would say the most 45 minutes.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So those of you, if you can make it, this is the 27th of July, which is a
Saturday.
fourth Saturday in July at Memorial Island. And you'll have a golf cart for those that need it?
I'll have a golf cart, yes.
Okay, and water?
And water will be supplied, right.
Okay. And any questions from the committee?
Just a suggestion, Mr. Gomez. I guess you're the master of ceremonies, but there's a couple of times when kind of everybody should come to attention and salute it. Do you have someone to kind of give that call, or are you going to do it from the podium? Like for the rifle volley and taps and such, it's.
Yeah, I guess I'll have to do it then.
Yes, sir.
Yeah,
and it is a little more dignified. Or if you have somebody, you could kind of assign to that. I think
right.
Sometimes that's
okay.
And then we were going to run the program or create the program for the organization, and Mr. Gomez had suggested using the flag for photo of Memorial Island, which is a good one, and the picture of I guess we won't have the flags out that day, but that's a nice touch.
Right.
I guess if it's okay, we'll have this saying, our committee on the back, and maybe I'll pass this down.
Okay.
And I guess we're looking for volunteers to pay for the printing of about 100 copies. Is that?
We might. I'd go for 150.
150. Okay. I think the sheriff's I don't know if it's the jail, what's the correct term for it, detention center, or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
They'll print for us, but we have to reply. Like if we want 150 copies of something, I think we have to give them 300 sheets of paper, which is still a deal. So
right.
Maybe I'll talk today at the Veterans Council about that, getting them printed for us. And again, we volunteer to create it again for you. So.
There's one other thing on the monument itself. It's very bare around. I've seen other monuments, and they have bushes about 2 feet high. Mm-hmm. I just want to ask permission if we can allow us to put bushes around ours.
Don, if you would just kind of talk to that.
Coordinate that.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Thank you.
Don has purview for the island on that regard, and I think like he suggested, if you work with him, and then he can come back to us, and we can look at a plan to provide any type of vegetation around there, or whether it's whatever type of plant. So,
excuse me, you're not talking about permanent vegetation. You're talking about something for just the ceremony.
No, something permanently.
And that, okay. Then they better talk to Mr. Dexter.
Yes.
I'm sorry.
Yeah, they're only about 2 foot high, and they seldom grow. I mean, it was on the other monuments, and I just seen those, and ours is bare. So,
Okay.
I just thought it'd be.
We just speak with him, and
we'll do.
What will likely happen is he'll come back with a recommendation, and then based upon the recommendation, we'll discuss it, and then we'll see if there's something that might else be looked at, and then look at the other aspects of it, and then go from there.
Okay, and we'll supply them, if you tell us what to get,
What's that?
We'll supply the bushes. So,
okay, all right.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
The only one other final thing is when I spoke with, I'm embarrassed because I can't pull his name up off the top of my head, with Chief Curry's deputy, he offered that the police and the sheriffs would provide an honor guard if you're interested. So if you would discuss that with the board and let me know so I can let them know if you want them to pursue that.
Okay.
Okay?
I'll talk with them. Yes, I will.
Okay.
Okay.
I think that was, and on behalf of the group here, I think that's pretty generous for both of them to offer that. So
The Sprinkler League was going to bring their color guard too to help honor you on that occasion. So I think a few color guards would be nice. It would add color.
it would.
Photo opportunity for the.
I just try to make it simple. That's why I didn't add much on there, But it would. Yeah.
okay.
Okay.
And then, do you want to mention anything regarding your bench?
Oh yes. On the bench, the bench we donated another $200 towards the bench.
Okay.
Okay, and we want to thank that was a donation from the Veterans Council, which we want to thank them.
Okay. All right. So I believe you have enough money for that bench now.
I think so.
So between the Veterans Council and the Military Officers Association and the Korean War Veterans, you have a bench, which will be by next Veterans Day, Don? Okay.
Don's
Okay, very well.
Yeah, very good.
That's wonderful. Wonderful. Good for you. Congratulate each one of those organizations because this is the way we get things done.
Very well.
Okay. Thanks, Joe.
Okay, I thank all of you.
I pass the program down to see if there's any changes, and then if I may have it back so that we can
Okay,
have
okay.
it paid. So just see if there's anything.
The only other thing, ma'am, is do we need to go ahead and have we asked him to come back to give us a full update? Do we need a vote to approve this?
I think we need to approve it at this meeting because we purposely waited.
Right.
Now, Don, as far as you know, everything's fine. As and Rob's not here. Joel,
The only thing
okay with you?
missing were the signatures from the city. The only thing missing on the application were the signatures of the approving
City
parties.
manager and
Yes.
and our chairman.
Yes.
Okay. Okay. Based on that, Mr. Chairman, I move the application submitted for the Korean War Veterans Association ceremony on July 27th be approved.
I'll second that.
Okay. All in favor?
Aye.
It's so noted. And Heather, I believe you do have all of the signatures on your application. I think that was taken care of shortly after that last meeting. Yeah.
You just have a blank copy, but I think with the minutes of the last meeting, we had it prepared, but we held off until today to formally approve it. Mm-hmm.
Okay. Very good.
Okay.
Thank you.
All right, thank you.
Okay. Mr. Dexter, disposition of the renovated bronze cenotaph plates. We were kind of looking at that, but we hadn't made a final.
I contacted or sent an
disposition.
email to the company that we got the replacement plaques from. They did not respond. So I checked with some local scrap people, and bronze markers are now tagged because so many things have been stolen from cemeteries and stuff. So we can take them down there and dispose of them, and the check needs to be made out to the city of Vero Beach, and everything is fine with that. The market rate right now is somewhere around $1.85 a pound, and just picking up the box, I would guess we had around 20 or 25 pounds of bronze. So my recommendation would be to move forward and scrap them locally, and we'll go from there.
Okay. And
You get the money. You did the work.
I think the way it works, it goes back into the city general fund anyway. So.
Okay.
all right.
Don, when those are scrapped, you guys are going to actually watch them scrap them, correct?
We're going to break them so they're individual, and then I don't know if we can watch them grind them up or something, but something we can check on. But this is a licensed scrap metal place, and if they're broken, they're not being able to be put up in somebody's room or used for decoration someplace.
Okay.
But they're under fairly tight controls also, and periodically the sheriff's department or local police check in on these guys, and when they have something like that, it has to be documented how it's disposed of.
Well, that's the primary concern is that it doesn't somehow fall into some hands. We're finding out that we've got a individual putting it on Amazon.com next year for a token from Memorial Island, which would not be very good. So, okay, thank you. Chairman's matters. Staff Sergeant David Leroy Brooks. I added this to the agenda because after the Memorial Day ceremony, his son came up to me and said that he'd like to provide some more information in regards to his dad. And just like so many other veterans, the story just is phenomenal. He was 3 years old when his dad was killed as a Marine in Vietnam, and he belonged to the 3rd of the 7th Regiment, and on that day they went out into a clearing area and as a part of a company, and the enemy at the time attempted to eliminate every one of them, and by his leadership they were able to survive that despite taking horrendous losses. And if you look at the account, a total of 18 men were killed on that day, and others significantly wounded. But as a son of a veteran, Min told his mom, and he has letters from his dad that said that his dad was, through his leadership, he saved lives, and that's the legacy that nobody can deny, and it's just something that is a part of what Alex McWilliam, I think, would want to be told of anybody that served their nation. So I just want to say to those that know of the stories, just continue to share with them. I mean, but that's the power of our men and women. Okay, Veterans Memorial Island Trifold. I have met with a young lady that's assisting in developing another proposal for that. I will bring the similar format that we had in the past, probably next meeting, with the new proposal to the board so that you can review that. And based upon that, then we'll proceed to get copies made. Again, I want to say thanks to the Veterans Council because they are assisting with that and will pay for it. So it's incredible. Memorial Day Foundation. I asked the Veterans Council for assistance, anybody wanting to assist with documenting any of the memorials to our veterans in the county. And that will continue. They were supportive of that. And then as we make progress of that, I'll bring it back because Memorial Island is definitely one of the locations in the county that has a lot of memorials. But you have other ones that are like out at the airfield and a number of other locations. Okay. And the final point there is next May 2014, if my math is correct, is our 50th anniversary. And so we need, as an august group, to look ahead and think about what we would like to see and what contacts we need to make in order to bring that to pass. I think the fact that it's I don't know what 50 years is. That golden?
That's supposed to be golden.
That's a golden anniversary. So maybe the Army Reserve Band would provide us a contingent. I know that we can look at that and possibly others as well, and even get a larger contingent of active guys or reservists to troop the field possibly. And so I just want to bring it up to everybody's consideration, and then we'll follow up with it.
Would you think, would we combine that with Memorial Day?
So you got
Yeah.
Memorial Day.
No, right, exactly. And that will be a part of Memorial Day.
Make it a bigger and better.
Right.
Memorial Day, of course, is a solemn ceremony, but we could combine this appropriate solemn ceremony with the celebration of the 50th anniversary. That'd be a great.
Right.
Keeping in mind the recommendations from the last Memorial Day.
Oh, wonderful. Oh, okay.
Everybody, we all got a copy.
Oh, okay. All right.
It was a report on this past Memorial Day, and I see there's some basic suggestions in there.
Right. Okay. And likewise, Don, from the city point of view, looking ahead a year in advance as far as any changes, whatever, that would give us, if we wanted to do the service bronze, plates or whatever, that would give us the window to plan for that, so that would be completed in advance. Okay. Going around, Barb, anything
Nothing
for
new.
the group this morning? Okay.
Nothing to-
John?
Just something on the Korean Veterans ceremony is July 27th at 10 o'clock. And just to remind the community and everyone, veterans and veterans organizations, starting at 11 in the mall is a red, white, and blue salute to veterans. And of course, the Veterans Council is leading the way in the Victory Center, the wonderful little store we have out there. But it would be almost perfect. We'll go over and help honor the Korean War veterans at 10, and then starting at 11. But the presentation at the mall is not until noon, so there's plenty of time to get to the mall. And again, that's the July 27th, the same day as the Korean War veterans, but a little bit later, July 27th at the mall, right in front of the Victory Center store. Is that where we're? I guess the mall is putting on the whole.
The mall's putting it on, and I'm not sure if it's at the entrance or whether it'll be in front of the Victory store. But the occasion is the artist, I believe, for the large print or painting of the SEAL team as they were preparing to depart on the flight, which they ended up being shot down, and one of the Vaughn's son was killed in that incident. But the painting will be there, and a copy of it provided to the Victory Center. So you have the recognition of the Korean veterans, and then at the mall will be the painting, which is a recognition of the Afghan conflict and the current members that are serving our nation. So
I think the presentation that's actually at noon, but at 11 o'clock. And my understanding is that we would meet at, I think it's at the end where the Victory Center is, because the Victory Center is doing so good out there.
And that's Victory Center is probably 3 stores to the west of Macy's entrance.
And one other thing that a general discussion. I have heard some interest in honoring the desert war veterans, even when we created the Vietnam Veterans Memorial, there was for a while they had the National Defense Medal, which was really the appropriate medal for the Cold War. I'm glad we got the right one on their Vietnam veterans, that Vietnam Service Medal on theirs, but we had a flood in our office over there, so I've lost my copy of the latest copy of my ordinance and so forth. But in the discussion about that, we certainly should.
John?
Am I not on? Oh, pardon me. We in just people bringing up that, and there is, of course, a lot of interest in honoring the veterans. I'm not sure. There was a few conflicts. Well, there's quite a few if you go to everywhere in the world, but. How would, and I don't know that we would shape that. It really needs to be somebody proposing it to us. But when they ask that, I'm not sure what, would we, certainly there's not going to be a monument to every engagement or every medal that if some went here or some went there. And kind of like the Vietnam Service Medal honored all those that served, all those Vietnam veterans. And I suppose if we had a National Defense Medal type monument, it would honor anyone who served the country during a time of war. But I think they're looking for something more specific on the Desert Storm or whichever. What is the appropriate one for that? And I don't think we have an organization out there that's active that's saying, hey, we want one. So It's really supposed to be proposed by a veterans organization, if I read the ordinance right. And where is that organization? I don't know. Is there I guess the young guys are still working and doing other things. Of course, old guys like me are still working too. But
I think probably what will end up happening is because at the end of a conflict, it is so still relatively recent, and I hate to use that word, but recent. But if you look since 1990, and that's 13 years, no, 23 years, 90,000, 23, how time flies. The proposal was at the Veterans Council to look at a monument recognizing the Gulf War and Afghanistan and Iraq. So I think what I would recommend to those that are watching, if you know of folks that are interested in assisting the Veterans Council in putting that together, there will be a group that pursues that over the coming years, and get to the Veterans Council and make that information make yourself known, because that's something that will be developed in the course of the coming year or years.
And it can take time.
Right.
Not only the design can take time, but then so forth, of course,
right.
too. So
no, the concept, the funding, everything. And so
and approval. Yeah.
Our group here will do as we've done in the past, is review that and see if it's in keeping with the intent of the island, and make a recommendation to the city.
Well, that would be the recommendation. If somebody asks, well, what about our guys or those guys? So really it would be to get involved with the Veterans Council or route it through them to sort. Okay. All right. Well, thank you for that.
Well, that's one of the reasons we have a master plan, is because over a period of time there are going to be changes, there are going to be additions as we move along in this wonderful world. So when the opportunity is presented, they can easily come to this board, and at that point, this group should take a look at the overall plan and make sure that there is a location and that it fits within the guidelines of all the rest of them that are already there. So I think we could encourage them to get prepared before they come to us.
Right, and I think the fact that we've now seen the POW Memorial added to the island, we've had the Vietnam Memorial added to the island. There is enough experience out there that hopefully that would guide the veterans, so they're not, you don't have to reinvent the wheel as a process. So
the ordinance, what I was just a little confused. It says it needs to be proposed by an organization, and so can the Veterans Council propose one? I guess it is certainly a veterans organization. So
sure.
So because there may not be the VFW or the Vietnam Veterans. It's a real strong organization in this group.
Yeah. It may end up being. I listened to the radio coming back from Gainesville, getting my daughter, and there was an Iraq, Afghanistan veterans organization audio ad on the radio up there for asking folks that needed assistance in regards to combat stress to call in. So I think with some exploration and maybe local interest, and that's one of the intents for the Veterans Council, is to, as a part of the Veterans Outreach, to encourage recent veterans to come together, and maybe that will be a motivation to recognize their service for the future.
Well, the Veterans Council is certainly recognized as the leader among the veterans organizations. So I think they certainly have standing.
Oh, yes, ma'am. Of course. Okay. Well, I think it's a worthy cause. That's no doubt. Will
Oh,
one
without
day
a doubt.
happen
No,
out
I
there
mean,
on the island.
yes. Okay.
Okay.
No, sir.
Anything?
Nothing.
Ma'am?
No, thank you.
Nothing.
Nothing.
Okay. All right. Well, and the paper today, I'll close with this. On the front page of the Press Journal was a half
Tribute.
dozen, maybe more,
Tribute.
photos of veteran members from Stewart and Fort Pierce that recently have given their lives. And I just want to say the memorial of those men is an extremely important undertaking, and the veterans that protect our ability to sit here and govern in law and order is extremely important. So, with that, and there's no further business, I would like to adjourn this. Thank you.
So done.